Welcome to Tuesdays with Tabitha. This is my live show coming to you every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And my name is Tabitha. If you have not met me before, if this is the first time you're meeting me, or if you're being reintroduced to me, my name is Tabitha Library, and I am an attorney and an HR manager and a conflict management strategist. And I help professional women of faith who are overwhelmed by workplace conflict lead thriving teams with confidence. I do that through showing them how to use all 5 of the conflict styles so that they can succeed in the boardroom, in the conference room, in the classroom, and any other room that you're in. I make sure that you succeed so that you lead from any room that you're in. So welcome to Tuesdays with Tabitha. This platform has a purpose where we openly talk about conflict, and I share tips with you to help you resolve conflict that you might be having in your workplace or in civic spaces. And I help you understand what it is, because sometimes conflict is happening around you and you might not even know that it is conflict. So today's live stream topic is how leaders get through harmony. And why is this important? It's important because if you've ever noticed that your initial reaction to conflict is to try to smooth things over, immediately you just go to smoothing things over, or trying to settle it, then this episode is for you. If you are someone who initially tries to smooth things over as soon as there's conflict, or try to keep the peace everywhere as soon as there's conflict, then pull up a chair and listen in, because in this episode, I am going to give you clarity on how to lean into conflict instead of trying to be a people pleaser. I'm going to give you clarity on how to assert your agenda instead of simply rushing to make the peace when something is happening. So remember that as leaders, our leadership roles are multifaceted. What do I mean by that? I mean that as a leader, you're surrounded by an ecosystem that is made up of very many strategic roles and strategic partners. You have yourself, you have your direct reports, and you have the people who you report to. So you have yourself, you have your direct reports, people who report to you, and then you have the people you report to. And that could be your corporates, your managers, your C-suite. You could be the owner of the company, but in many ways, you as a person are still reporting to the company because you are an entrepreneur, and then you are invested in the success of your company. So you still have to conduct yourself, you the person, still have to conduct yourself in a way that can help your company to grow and can help your team members to thrive under your management. So everyone in your ecosystem is balancing relationships. Their own relationships with their families, and their societal relationships in their civic spaces, in their churches, when they're shopping, when they're traveling. You and everyone else in your ecosystem are balancing those relationships. And so there is a lot of possibilities for things to get tense, for things to go wrong, for things to happen, and that's what conflict is. And you might find that when it happens, you initially resort to harmonizing or trying to keep the peace or people pleasing. So you might find yourself doing that, harmonizing, people pleasing, rushing to smooth things over. One of the reasons could be that you are genuinely afraid of conflict. You might be afraid of the consequences of conflict. You might be afraid that something bad will happen. You might also be triggered by previous memories. You may have grown up in an environment where you react a certain way to conflict because of what happened when you were a child or a teenager. And so you might not have a very high tolerance for conflict, for issues, for bad things happening. You might not have a very high tolerance. You might not be resilient at all times. You might also find that you're someone who likes to seek peace because you don't like to rock the boat. Those are reasons that you might find yourself harmonizing or people pleasing or trying to smooth things over when conflict happens. Now, harmonizing is one of the 5 conflict styles, and it is very, very useful in situations where you want someone to feel valued and respected. Harmonizing is also very, very useful when you want to be sensitive to the needs of others. You as a leader want to be sensitive to the needs of others. But there's a but there, as I'm quite sure you're aware that it's coming. If you've been expecting a but, here it is. Even though harmonizing is one of the conflict styles that is most useful when you want others to feel valued and respected, or if you want to be sensitive to the needs of others, do you think that respectfully reproaching your team will motivate them to resolve conflict? Respectfully approaching your team in a harmonizing way is not always going to motivate them to resolve conflict. If harmonizing is your default conflict style, the team members and the direct reports who you oversee might be viewing you as a people pleaser without you even knowing that that's how you are perceived. And if harmonizing is your default conflict style, people who you report to, the C-suite, your bosses, might be viewing you as a mediocre leader without you even realizing. And too much harmonizing can result in you feeling depressed because you're always rushing in to smooth things over. Needs are never being met. And so you end up feeling neglected. You end up feeling depressed. Also, if you move very easily to smoothing things over and pleasing people, you might find that you fail to advocate for others who are in your care, others you're responsible for, others you might need to protect, because instead of taking a stand and protecting and looking out for people, you are busy trying to smooth things over, and so issues don't get addressed. So how do you lead your team to success without everyone stampeding on your wishes? What would it look like if you could focus on all of the needs? Your needs, the needs of your direct reports, the needs of the company, the people you report to. If you can do that, and you can also advance important agendas, you lead a happy and thriving team to success and all the way to the bank. You get important things done, and you can be an agent of change. So if you are able to look into yourself and you realize that there's a part of you that rushes easily to please people, rushes easily to harmonize, rushes easily to smooth things over, what can you do? Well, I've got 3 tips for you. The first advice is to strengthen your assertiveness skills. Do some self-talk. Do some self-coaching. And if you're not working with someone, then actually go in front of the mirror and practice being assertive. Practice asserting for yourself. If you're anticipating a conversation coming up, prepare for it so that you are able to lean into that conversation with confidence, because even if you haven't said it before, when it's happening, you've already said it before in the mirror. Also, another tip for you is to create a core group of trusted advisors, people you trust, people who will give you genuine feedback and help you prepare for difficult situations. And when you're talking to those people, try to let them guide you through analyzing the root cause of conflict and figuring out how you get there. And there's an exercise that I can do with you to help you do that, help you understand what is actually causing the conflict, because it might not always be what you think it is. So the first tip was to strengthen your assertiveness skills. And the second tip was to create a core group of trusted advisors and people who would help you talk through things, try to figure out how to find out what is causing the conflict, and so that you can be sure that instead of harmonizing, you address all of the real issues. And the third tip that I have for you is expand your knowledge of conflict styles. There are 5 of them: directing, avoiding, harmonizing, compromising, and cooperating. And each style is good in its own way. Each style is appropriate in a different setting. There is no good conflict style or bad conflict style. And so someone who is well versed in all of them is going to know which situation should apply to which conflict style. Think about 90 days from now, and think about where you are right now, and think about the leadership plan that you have for yourself, and ask yourself, 90 days from now, would you rather know the root cause of your team's conflict, or still be rewarding bad behavior with respectful communication while you are trying to smooth things over? If you want to learn how to lead without trying to please people and sometimes not pleasing anyone because you are trying to please too many people, and if you want to learn to be a leader who can transition through all 5 of the conflict styles, send me a DM. I can help you do that. So this is our information for today. This is our advice to you for today on Tuesdays with Tabitha. This is what I hope you can take forward with you and help you to become a more effective leader and help you to use all 5 of the conflict styles. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. If you have, share in the comments below. Let me know if something resonated with you. Drop a like for me. Drop your favorite emoji for me if you have enjoyed this live stream. I hope you have. And if there's anything that you've heard today that has impacted you, and if you'd like to become a leader who can be well versed in all 5 of the conflict styles, shoot me a DM and let's talk. Take care for now. Love you.